There has been much discussion over the new changes in the Communication Department's policy. But what are they and how will they affect you? We're here today with Professor Susan Douglas. Thank you for being here today with us, Professor.
Oh, sure. I'm happy to be here.
Now, can you tell us really quick, what do you do for the Communication Department?
So I teach about the history and impact of the mass media. My specialty is gender in the media and also history of broadcasting, and I'm also chair of the department.
Great. Now, as chair of the department, what role have you had in this policy change?
I've had one of the leading roles. Other faculty have too. Professor Amanda Lotz has played a leading role as well. But basically, we were looking at our curriculum, which was enacted, it was created, I believe, in '94 and instituted in '95. And as you know, in our field, a lot has changed since then. And so we wanted to revisit the curriculum, think about how we could incorporate more stuff, particularly around media and globalization, and also new media, and also make the curriculum more coherent. We didn't feel it was very well stepped or planned for students.
Now, how is the new policy going to affect the students?
Well, it depends on when you started taking classes and when you've declared. Students who are already declared will follow the old the old curriculum because that's what they understood they were, buying into. Students who declare starting in the fall will be under the new curriculum, and students in between, there were various ways that are too complicated to go in now that will be sort of helping them grandfather and transition.
Now, how will the prerequisite classes for the new policy work?
So we still have 101 and 102, which is same as it ever was, but we have, and we've eliminated a class called 111, which was a one-credit course that taught students things like Excel and PowerPoint. And what we found, that was instituted in '95 when people didn't know a lot. Now our students, they're more savvy than we are. And we've actually gotten complaints from students. We do a senior survey every year, and we poll our students about what they like and don't like about the curriculum. And a lot of the students felt that 111, they knew how to do most of the stuff. They didn't find it necessarily helpful. And so we thought, well, then let's get rid of that. But we have added a new course, or actually two new courses, which may or may not be controversial with students. So we had a class, which I know you took, called COM 211, which is about evaluating information, and it focused primarily on quantitative social science-based ways of analyzing information. So the concern of the faculty was that students were learning one method of analysis, which is very valuable, but they weren't learning the other methods of analysis, which are more humanities-based ways of deconstructing the media. So the good news, bad news is that 211 is now has morphed into two courses instead of one, which some students may find challenging. But the good news is that there's a really interesting, fun range of analyzing media text that's now included that we think will be hugely helpful to students who want to go into advertising, public relations, marketing, journalism, etc. So it is adding another course,
Right.
but we think that students are going to be really powerfully equipped with these courses when they come out.
Now, when they take that course, do they have to take it the same year? Like, does it have to be followed one semester and then they have to follow it up with the second course, or can they take it consecutively?
No, it's really students are encouraged to take it sequentially.
Okay.
So they have the first semester and then the second semester. So it's 121 is the first semester and 122 is the second semester.
Okay, now can they take 121 in the fall and take 122 the fall of next year?
They can do that.
Okay.
They're not encouraged to do that, but they can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about some other new courses that the Communications Department will be offering?
So what we had in the past was our 100 level classes, and then we had only one 200 level class, this 211 class, which seemed kind of crazy. And then the rest of our classes were at the 3 and the 400 level. So we've taken the classes that were previously numbered 300 and we've renumbered them to be 200 level classes because we really want to signal to sophomores in particular, and first semester juniors, that these are really appropriate classes for them. And so some of those classes will stay the same. So there's a media psychology class, which that stays the same. And there's a class on the news, which is a relatively similar version of a class we had at the 300 level. And we're introducing an entirely new class called Communications Revolutions. And we're very excited about this because what we want to do is take students through the history of communications revolutions and have them put old communications revolutions in conversation with what's happening today. Because as you know, over the past 10 years, I mean, the explosion in, Facebook, Twitter, texting, Pinterest, Tumblr, all this stuff, it feels like a huge revolution.
Right.
And it is. It's absolutely, completely changed the lives of our students. But we want them to understand that this is part of a continuum, and that starting from the printing press all the way up through telephone and telegraph up to now, that there have been various revolutions or maybe evolutions. And so we think it would be exciting for students to put contemporary revolutionary experiences with communications technologies in conversation with what happened in the past and try to do it from a global perspective. So that's a course we're excited about as well. Now,
is this a course that you were quoted in the Daily saying you don't think any other university has a course like this?
No, that was this interdisciplinary 121, 122 course.
Oh, okay.
I don't think anybody has put together these kind of social science and humanities-based methods of analyzing the media for their students in the way that we have.
Now, can you tell me if I'm a declared major already, so can I take these new courses if I wanted to?
Well, you could if you wanted to. So if you've already taken 211, you don't need to take 121 and 122,
Right.
and some of the material would obviously be repetitive. But you would miss out on the kind of humanities-based method of analysis. I don't know. We actually haven't thought about whether you'd be forbidden from taking either one of them. But if there are some ways in which students will be allowed to substitute certain courses. So right now students have to take 2 300 level classes, but if they've only taken one and they're not going to be offered next year because they've moved to the 200,
Right.
they can substitute one of the 200 level classes for the previously numbered 300 level classes and then go on their way.
Now, will there be a comm studies minor now with this new policy?
Not yet.
Okay.
We have such a popular concentration, which is why we've been one of the few departments that has had an admissions policy, because we've just had so many students who want to major in communication studies, and we haven't had enough faculty to be able to staff the courses. So, and for us to have a minor on top of it, we just can't handle it. We need to be able to serve our majors,
Right.
As it is.
Right. Tell me about the application process now.
So the application process now is you take the prereqs, and if you have a 2.7 overall in all of them, you get in.
Oh.
And if you don't, you don't. There's a certain amount of certainty. So you see how you're doing, and if you're doing okay, you're going to get in. And if you're struggling, you probably won't. So we wanted to make this more clear-cut and straightforward for our students.
Now, students who fall under they're planning to declare this, they're finished, they're in the last prereq now.
Yeah.
Can they declare at the end of the semester?
Yes. So we are still figuring out what the timetable will be for that. But they'll simply look at their GPA, they'll get their GPA calculated, and they'll see if they're in or not. Some students who stick around in May after graduation and once their grades are in will be able to meet with our staff and declare. But of course, many students go away, and so they'll be declaring probably in the fall.
Now, with the new policy, will there be an increase or decrease of the amount of credits needed to complete the major, or will that remain the same?
2 credits less.
Oh, oh great. Okay, well, do you have anything else that you'd like to add about the new policy?
Yeah, we're going to do two new things now. At the 400 level, we had everything from large lecture classes to small seminars, and we didn't think that made sense. We thought all of our 400 level classes should be seminars, and now that's what they're going to be because, again, our senior exit survey showed that our students love the 400 level classes. They really like having smaller classes where they get to know their classmates and their professors, and so all of our 400 classes now, 400 level classes will be seminars.
Wow.
And numbered from 450 to 499 will be capstone classes. They'll be small 18 to 20 student classes. Everyone will be required to take at least one, but it provides a real intimate capstone experience for our students. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah.
And then at the 300 level, we're seeking to introduce more lecture classes that are about the major industries in our field. And so we're trying to begin to fold those in. We have a lot of students who are interested in advertising, in journalism, in public relations. We are a liberal arts program, and so we're not going to be offering how-to courses in those areas. But if we offered courses on the history and impact of advertising, history and the impact of public relations and the like, that would be a huge service to our students, and I think they'd be enormously popular. So that's what we're trying to fold in at the 300 level.
That's great.
Yeah.
As you can see, the communication department is hard at work making sure the U of M graduates will have the best education possible. For more information on the communication department, you can visit their website at umich.edu/com. I'm your host, Angela Riley, and you're watching Wolf Talk.